Sorry about that. It's a whole process.
No problem. It's saying that it's live now, so I think we're go, Keish.
All right, excellent. Well, welcome everybody to Spilled Milk. Spilled Milk is Milk Like Mine's basically like roundtable talk. I grew up hearing my mom talk about spilling tea, and it was all the gossip. You know, they sat there and they talked to each other, and they did basically self-care therapy, but anything that was going on, that's what got talked about. So we took a spin on that. As a breastfeeding professional organization, we all know that if you spill breast milk, that's a whole thing. They say don't cry over spilled milk. You can cry if it's breast milk, trust me. So that's where the term spilled milk comes from, is where we get together and we talk about real life. We talk about a specific subject that allows us all to engage with each other and then uplift each other and be one another's support group. Today on episode 4, we have a mixture of community mothers and lactation professionals. What we all have in common is we have all breastfed. So in honor of Black Breastfeeding Week, we are here to discuss the ins and outs of the 6th trimester. Oftentimes we throw trimesters to things, school, of course, pregnancy has its 3 trimesters, postpartum, that's the 4th trimester. There's a book out called The 5th Trimester that's all about breastfeeding and being fabulous, going back to work. So you would ask, maybe, what is the 6th trimester? It is essentially the weaning process, representing the end of the breastfeeding relationship, be it by choice for you, or if the baby chose to, or if you had something medical that went on. And we brought everybody together today to talk about that, the highs, the lows, the emotions, how to cope with it. Did you enjoy it? Who did the weaning? Did you wean, or did the baby say no? So we have brought a mixture of lovely ladies in today. We will open it up for everybody to say hi and tell us briefly about ourselves to the community. So I am Rakisha Williams. I am a certified lactation specialist, certified lactation counselor, birth doula, childbirth educator, and co-founder to Milk Like Mine. I have 2 wonderful children that I breastfed, and I will popcorn it over to Stephanie since she's right here next to me.
Hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie. I'm a certified lactation counselor, a doula, and I have 2 children, one that is 8 in November and my son who is 1.5. I breastfed my daughter till she was 3, and I'm still currently breastfeeding my son. I'm gonna pick Desiree to go next.
Hi, I'm Desiree. I have 2 little girls. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I breastfed my 4-year-old exclusively for about 4 months, and then my 2-year-old I breastfed for I think it was 17 months. So yeah, my brain. I'll pass it to Lacretha.
Hi, I'm Lacretha. I have 3 children that I breastfed. We're in breastfeeding. I breastfed my oldest until he was right around 2. My second, I breastfed until I think right at 2. And then I'm currently breastfeeding my 3-month-old. I'm sorry, what else am I supposed to say? I know I'm missing something. Let's see, I will pass it to Sakita.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sakita. I am a mother of 3 breastfed children. My oldest, who's 22, I breastfed for 7 months. My second child, I breastfed for a year. And my third child, I breastfed for 9 months. I will pass it to Tamika Jackson Dyer.
Okay, so I have 3 children, 2 bio, 1 adopted. I breastfed both of my birth babies. My oldest for a year, because that was what I was told you were supposed to do. So I weaned her about a week after her first birthday. Well, actually, she weaned herself. We'll talk about that later. And then the boy, I nursed him for 33 months. And then I was done. He was not, but I was very ready to be done. Different experience. And I will popcorn to Shantae.
Let me tell you, only Black people be like 33 months. What? What is 33 months? How old is this baby? I was saying, like, no, she didn't say 33 months. Like,
Because I was not doing it till he was 3. So 33 months. Yes.
how y'all doing? I'm Shantae. I'm an IBCLC childbirth educator, birth doula, all that type of stuff. I have breastfed all 4 of these little people, and here he comes because he 2 years clean, y'all, but he act like he been out the game
Hi,
for a real
Eli.
long time. Tell everybody hi.
Hi, Eli. We knew we were going to see you making your guest
Hi, buddy.
appearance.
I think he feels some type of way. I'm like, it's only been 2. He really acts brand new, but I nursed him until he was 5. And we could definitely talk about, I don't know how many months is that, Tamika, 60? Is it?
Not do months. I need you to not do it.
That's my new one. I'll be like, I breastfed for 60 months, the last one.
After 3, we counting whole years, all right?
Okay. I will popcorn it to Tamika White.
Hello, I'm Tamika. I am a certified lactation specialist and doula. I breastfed my first daughter, Alicia, for 1 year, and
I'm on.
Rylan is 6 months and counting. My goal is for 2 years, and then we'll see how that goes because this is like a brand new territory for me because I abruptly weaned at my daughter's first birthday, like the night of her birthday, cut her off. So, yeah, I'm here to to learn as well as share my experience.
Popcorn it over, sis.
Oh, who has not gone? Shatoria? Shatoria? Don't.
I have not gone, so I will go ahead. I am Shatoria Townsend. I IBCLC in waiting. I am a childbirth educator, birth doula, postpartum doula, mom of 3, and I also got to mention that I'm a mom of twins. That's a hard job. Whoever do it, give you tons of props. As you can see, I'm nursing my baby. He keep his feet down. When he nurse, his feet go everywhere. It's either his foot or his hand, but it's always in my face. I had to go back and count since everybody doing months. He is breastfed for 21 months right now. And I had to come back because his birthday in December. He'll be 2 in December. I had to be like, okay, there's we at. And yeah, I am about ready for him to be done. Every time I try, he's like, no. I even took a 4-day vacation away. And he was just like, come on, bring it. Let's eat right now. I have all boys.
Got them 4 days worth of milk stored up for him. Bring it.
Look, I was like, I'm gonna still pump because I know my child and I don't got time for an irate baby when I come home. So I just want to protect my supply, even if I just pump twice a day, so he can have something. Because I wasn't ready for that battle for him. Like he got the name Boss Baby for a reason. Let's see, I breastfed the twins. Then I exclusively pumped 18 months with the twins. That was a whole lot. They never latched. They were in the NICU. So I'm here to talk about both of those experiences with everybody. And I will popcorn it to Jocelyn.
Hi, classmate. So, hi everyone, I'm Jocelyn. This is Maximus. He is, how old is he? 15 months, June, July, August, 15 months. And we breastfed until about 10 months. He decided to stop, wean himself. He took a couple nursing strikes and that was new to me. And then around 10 months, he kind of took his last one and that was the end of our journey. And then, and then I have a 6-year-old and I breastfed and pumped with her about 50-50 until she was a year. I did a year with her. So that was interesting. And I'm in the military, in the Air Force, and I was away from her for 3 months. When she was, when she was 4, 5, 6 months. So that was interesting. I did a lot of pumping there too. So yeah, it sounds like a couple of us have had a few pandemic babies, and so here we are.
Who you popcorning to, Joss?
Let me see. Sorry, I have to look. How about Vanessa?
Thanks. Hey, everybody. My name's Vanessa Moon. I'm a labor, delivery, postpartum nurse, IBCLC, midwifery student, and mom of one with a bonus older son. But my birth baby, I'm going to put it like Shantae said, she is 1 year clean. So she nursed until she was 5. And it was a mutual decision, although all the days leading up to it were mostly managed by her expectations. So I was just kind of along for the ride most of the time. But I'm happy to be here and so excited to be with this group of awesome mamas. And I'm going to pop it over to, let's see. Is it Kiona?
You got it. Hello, all. I'm Kiona Ackley. I'm a proud mother of 3. And my kids are ages 14, 7, and 2. I breastfed all 3 of them. The first 2 being my girls, they gave me such a hard time with crazy latch issues. And back then, I just wish I had a Milk Like Mine support group to go to. However, I didn't, so I didn't last as long with them. About 3 months with my first and a little over 6 months with my second. But I am so proud to say that I had a support group with my third, and I went well over a year, almost 18 months with my son, whom is now 2. That was with me working full time, being a co-founder of a nonprofit, the Serial City Family Network, and starting a new local business, P&K Deals, right here in Battle Creek, and just very, very grateful to be around such supportive women. And I want to thank you all for all the support you have extended to me. And I will call on next Jasmine Clark.
I'm Jasmine. I am a mom of two. I have an 8-year-old as of tomorrow. I breastfed her probably for about 9 or 10 months. It was a really rough road. And then my second, who is my 5-year-old, I breastfed him until he was 3, and he's now 5. I'm a student nurse going into my 2nd year of nursing school. I just took my boards today, so I'm extremely tired, but happy to be here. And then I don't know who else was left.
I think Jennifer hasn't gone.
Oh, well, Jennifer.
Hey y'all, so grateful to be here. I'm Jennifer Day, and I am a mom of 2 half-grown kids, I think they think. They are 12 and 13, breastfed them for 2.5 and 3.5 years respectively. They are 12 months apart, so tandem nursed for quite some time with the both of them. And that definitely ignited a passion within my journey of becoming a lactation consultant. So I'm an IBCLC member of Southeast Michigan IBCLCs of Color, sister of Rakisha and Stephanie over at Milk Like Mine, and also community building project manager with the Michigan Breastfeeding Network. So just very, very grateful to be sharing space with some dope folks from all around the state. And for those that are in the throes of life with me, where y'all's kids started school today or have started school recently, pray for me. Sorry, I was off mute for a minute fussing at my kids. I don't know how much y'all heard. I felt like Tamika for a second.
Her pause. You know how we are as moms. We ain't hear nothing. Even if we did hear something, we didn't hear nothing. Okay. So we're gonna kick it off. I did not mention my breastfeeding journey with my kids. I just said that I breastfed them both. I breastfed my son, who's the oldest. He's 11 now. Help me. Yes. Oh, sorry. She hit double digits too. Sorry about that. I abruptly stopped breastfeeding him when he was 9 months old because I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter. And I thought because breastfeeding makes your uterus contract that was going to make me miscarry. So talk about the things that you don't know. But when I later found out very much deeper into the pregnancy, that you can tandem nurse while pregnant, I was kind of heartbroken and a little ticked off because I realized how much I didn't actually know. So after I gave birth to my daughter, I was just like, I'm gonna go to college breastfeeding this girl. We gonna be together forever. I won't do that again. Like it's not gonna happen. And my son ended up going on like feeding strikes, and he has almost every allergy known to man, including a cow's milk allergy. So he ended up on Nutramigen, and that was horrible. He did not take that stuff, and it got so bad because he started losing weight. They were going to hospitalize him until I started doing some things that I shouldn't have done by adding other stuff to his formula so he would take it. I was out of resources at that point, y'all. I was losing my mind a little bit. But as I breastfed my daughter, who I say my son actually tricked me into having another baby because he breastfed so gracefully, she did not. I was like, oh, I know I said I was gonna stick with this forever, but if you gnaw down on me one more time, I'm gonna drop you off to somebody else and make you their problem. It was like,
Always the girls. It's always the girls.
I don't know what's wrong. I used to call her Chopper. She was crazy. And then she would laugh, like 2 months old, got this little giggle as she's gnawing down on me. I swear she teased for the whole first year of her life. So I went and I stuck it out. You know, I just kept relatching her, and I was really ready to do it for as long as possible. I had started work when she was about 4 months old. I got to breastfeed on my lunch breaks. Everything seemed like I was set up for success until Miss Sassy Pants at 14 months told me, I want my cup. And I said, well, it's time to eat. Come on, we can feed. She said, raise one eyebrow at 14 months, in my cup. Like she was asking me, like, if you expect me to do this, you're gonna put that milk in my cup. And I was like, no, girl, get over here and quit playing with me. And she brought the cup, sat in my lap, and kind of just shoved it at me like, this is what it's gonna be. She never breastfed a day in her life after that. And I was devastated. And I cried for about a week. I was like emotional at work. And then I was like, I'm gonna pump, and she's still gonna get this milk. But because I cried and was emotional for a week and hadn't had nobody latching on or doing nothing, when I actually got to the pump, it was drops. It was, I mean, maybe it was a drop. I don't even know. I just know that it dried up like the Sahara Desert inside my bra. And so then I was broken because of that. And I felt like I got robbed. So the 6th trimester for me is something that is emotional, sad, is unfortunate. Like I said, I feel like I got robbed. And oftentimes when you end any journey in life, it feels like a loss or a death, right? I really mourned the loss of our breastfeeding relationship for so long that I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Like, literally, I've been either breastfeeding or pregnant for all these months. What am I supposed to do? And so over time, being in the lactation profession, I have found that lots of people feel that way, which is actually what inspired tonight's episode. So there I am, there I'll be with that. Anybody else care to share?
I just want to say when Jocelyn said her baby weaned at 10 months, that's what happened with my last one, who was 9 months when he weaned. He was doing nursing strikes. And by then I was a lactation professional. So I was like, you know, you think it's like book stuff, right? Like this stuff really happens. And so the first nursing strike, I was like, okay, kind of like you, like, okay, he did it again. Second nursing strike, I was devastated and was like, okay. And the third one, I think I was a little caught because by this time, my daughter, who was 7 months, I agree with the girls and biting things. I don't know if that's just a coincidence, but cold turkey with her because she bit down on me Christmas Eve for parents. And you know, Christmas is stressful for parents. Like this would have been her first Christmas, and I'm hosting my dad, and I'm living in Maryland, and my sisters are there. And she bit down, and I was like, and she had been biting. But this last time sent me like, I think it was everything just sent me over the edge. You're done. And she was done. Like she cried and cried. I don't care. She cried so much. My dad said, why don't you just feed her? And I said, why don't you put her on your breast? For real, like, so I say that to say my middle child, and it's so similar hearing some of the stories. My middle child had all kinds of allergies. And so he ended up being failure to thrive because I kept thinking they wanted him on Neocate, which is a formula that you can only get in at that time. You could get in the UK. Shipping was a lot. The formula was a lot. And so I'm like, no, I'll just restrict myself. And so anyways, long story short, by the time he was a year, it was like he was so dependent on only nursing that it was like, we got to feed you, boy. We got to get you off of this area, right? But I was initially real modest But after him and then having my last child, I was like, we're going to do this thing until how many months? Let me just randomly throw out some months. 71 months. I don't know how long that is, but those were my goals, is just to do it until it was mutual. And it wasn't mutual. He was done. And so at 9 months, I am sitting here literally, if you can imagine, like, you're going to get over this nursing strike. If you could imagine me trying to put my baby to my breast and him like, at 9 months, right? He literally was like, I don't want that. And I kept trying to retry, and that was the end. That was the end. And it was so it was unlike my daughter. With my daughter, I was like, I get to determine what happens with my body. You ain't biting me, you done. With my son, and that was my last child, and I knew in my head that was going to be my last one. I felt a lot of grief, a lot of grief. Like I wasn't expecting that to happen. So
I can say that when his name's Maximus, the first nursing strike, I called her Keisha because I was like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this is real. Like, he's gonna starve to death. I have a 100th percentile baby, right? And I'm like, he's gonna starve. Oh my gosh. I didn't have any formula. Like, I never done formula before. And she got me through it. He got through it. We got back on track, skin to skin, lots of spending time together, laying together, all that good stuff. Like side nursing or I don't know what it's called. Laying down and nursing was like our thing. So, I had that thing right there in his face. And he eventually got back to it, 2 or 3 times. And then that last time, I don't know. I thought I was going to be sad. I thought I was going to be over it. But when I realized he was not, it was about a week. And I was pumping and I'm like, I don't think he's getting back on. And I was like, well, okay. And honestly, I can say that the support that I got from Milk Like Mine in the past made me feel like it was okay. Like, if this is going to be, so everybody had like a different type of story, right? And I didn't know that before. I thought everybody just breastfed perfectly. And then the moms always decided to stop. I didn't know that the babies made that choice too sometimes. And because I was more exposed to different experiences of mother's nursing, that's what made me feel like, okay, that's okay. I'm done and he's done and we're gonna go on about our business. And that's it. And with my daughter, it took a long time for my milk to dry up. For him, it didn't take long at all. And that's kind of where I was like, well, my body must be ready to, and that's okay too. So I don't know, it was different, but because of the stories that I have heard in the past, it made me feel like it was okay. I didn't really grieve. I grieved with my daughter, but with him, I'm like, oh, okay, moving along. And that was it.
That's amazing. I love that your spin on your weaning experience really was the ideal situation. I see he's done, so I'm done. And leaning into what you said about, that experience of hearing other people's story made you feel like that was okay. I really love that. And if we could foster that through everybody's journey, I feel like the journeys would be perfect.
Yes, the idea that breastfeeding is not perfect across the board amongst all women, amongst all families, like just knowing that everyone has their different story.
Yeah. I want to take a minute because we do have some viewers, and I will let somebody come off mute and you ask a fun breastfeeding question. And the first person to answer in comment will get a prize. Sorry about that, y'all. I'll put y'all on the spot, my bad.
Well, I have a question that we could add. I've heard this before. I can't remember where I was at, but it was, how many years have you breastfed, like all together, like counting all the kids together? Who has breastfed the longest?
Shantae.
I was gonna say when you add up that 5 and then you add up.
Yeah, your 1 beat all my 3. So I don't know if that's a fair question, Shatoria, because I'm just saying.
You
All
add,
right. So
you add 3 more to it, then it's a total of 8 altogether.
if we talk about it on here, and then I will look in the comments to see who's breastfed the longest, and then we will give that person a prize, and I'll reveal what the prize is after we pick. So y'all continue on. So who's got it? We had Shantae.
Shantae did it for 8 years. She had a year each for the first 3, and then that boy got all 5 years.
Well, you notice we see him all the time. We don't see the girls in the
No, that's my little shout out buddy. My mama said he think he my man, but that's all right.
So,
I got
everybody that's just joining, the question was, how long have you breastfed total? That means all the years or all the months between all of your children. And then you put it in the comments, and whoever's breastfed the longest will win.
I have a question though for the group, if that's all right.
Okay.
Nursing strikes, but I feel like my son is going not on nursing strikes, but on food strikes. Like he will not eat food. He will refuse to eat food and only wants the boob. And for me, and it's like a lot of times I'm at this weird place in my nursing journey where I'm like, okay, I kind of want to stop, but I kind of don't. And when I hear someone else tell me, it was like, well, just take them off, just wean them. I'm like, no, you can't tell me not to wean them. Like, you don't have the right to tell me that. Like, no, you just be quiet and support me in however way I need you to support. But don't tell me to stop. And I just feel like with the twins, I was robbed so much of that breastfeeding experience, like pumping all the time and then never being able to latch and then delayed skin to skin. So I kind of feel selfish in this. It's like I want to do all the things with you, but sometimes I'm gonna need you to kind of give mama a little bit of space. And being at home 24/7 doesn't help either, because it just feels like dad will be sitting there and I'm like, I'm typing or I'm trying to work, and I'm like, you don't want to go chill with dad, you don't want to throw football, you don't want to jump on him. And it's like, he doesn't even have to be nursing. He will sit here and just put his hand in my shirt and just want to sit here with his hand in my shirt, or just want to lay on me. And I'm just like, I really need 5 minutes to myself. But the biggest thing is like the food strike. Like, where is this coming from? Why is this happening? Why do you only want to eat breast milk and nothing else? Like, he will go 2-3 days with no food. I'm like, it'll be all the same foods that he likes. I'll try to give it to him. I try to trick him, be like, oh, you hungry? You want to eat? Take some apples, take the banana. He'll look at it, bite it, and throw it on the floor. And I'm like, you just wasted a banana and you won't take anything else. I have nothing left in me. And my husband teases me sometimes, and he's like, no, you told me it's nothing, it's never all the way empty. That's a lie. It's not empty all the time. It's something in there. It's something in there. I'm like, oh gosh. I was like, this is what I get for teaching everybody about lactation. So, but that's kind of where I'm at. It's really hard and really tough, because I just feel like I'm trying to make up for lost time with the twins, but also where I'm kind of like, I'm losing my mind at the same time, but not really ready to give it up.
He's still nursing, right? Oh, go ahead.
I was saying he's still nursing like daily. Like it's still a daily thing. Yeah, it's hard. With the boy, he had gotten down to like we were doing it maybe every other day, like once every 2 or 3 days. If he hurt himself or Sissy was being mean to him or something like that, it wasn't really food. But when he wanted it though. It's like it was not up for debate or discussion if he wanted it. So we actually, well, he was older than your baby. Like I said, he was almost 3. We actually had to have a conversation. Like we had a conversation. We sat down and I was like, okay, look, you are a big boy, right? And he's like, yes. I said, okay, so big boys eat food. Milk is for babies. You're not a baby, are you? And he's looking like you're trying to trick me, lady. But yeah, I'm a big boy. I said, okay, so we're gonna have some milk. And this will be the last time, okay? You can always still come and we can snuggle, we can cuddle, but no more milk after today. And he was like, okay. And he did pretty good for the first couple of days. He wouldn't ask. He would just sit there and look at me longingly. And then one day we were in the bathroom and he was on his little step stool. He was brushing his teeth or something. And I think I didn't have my shirt on. And he stood there and he just looked and he leaned back and he said, oh, sometimes I miss the mommy milk so much. And I almost broke. He almost broke me. He almost got me. But I was like, I am done. I am finished. so yes, they still, the one who said like they still want to reach and grab, even though they've been clean for a minute, they never forget. He still will just randomly, he's 11, and just be like, yeah, I say, you still remember? Yeah, I still remember. And he'll tell me that, you know, like my breasts were the best pillow ever. So it's funny when you nurse them like into toddlerhood that they can like remember and talk to you about it. It's a totally different experience than, you know, like with his sister where she was, you know, not really, well, she was a little bit verbal, but not really, but verbal enough to tell me she didn't want milk no more. And that's why I said it was different, because with her, I went back to work, like, you know, when she was only a couple of weeks old. So we were like pumping and all that kind of stuff. And so she had slowly been weaning, you know, anytime you giving them anything that's not straight from the breast, you kind of weaning them a little bit. And so I remember her last session, she came, like I would come home from work and we would nurse, like that was our reconnection time. So I came home and I'm like, okay. And I sat down and she walked over to me and she said, no, just snuggles. And I was just like, are you rejecting me? Oh my God, are you rejecting me? And I felt some kind of way about that.
She rejected you in the sweetest way, though.
Yeah, she said just snuggles. And she climbed in my lap and we snuggled and she climbed down and grabbed her cup and went on by her business. And I was like, am I supposed, but I said I was only gonna do it for a year, so I should be okay. But why do I feel like this? I don't like this. But no, I didn't know anybody who had done it exclusively for that long. So nobody could really like talk me through it. So yeah, it's different when it's your decision and when they just be like, no, I don't want that. I'm good.
How did you get to once a day, every other day? Because I told you I left my baby for 4 days, 4 full days. I walked through the door. I couldn't even say hi, take off my shoes, drop my bag. And he like, Mama Milk, Mama Milk. It's like, he's cool if he doesn't see me leave the room or if I'm not in the room. Like I feel like we still at him at the 6 months stage where it's like, okay, you can't get baby bottle because mommy is here. You gotta switch. But it's like, you can't give him nothing if mommy is here. If mommy is here, it's the milk and that's it. And
How old is he, Shatoria?
So, oh, go ahead.
How old is he?
He will be 2 in December.
Yeah. I remember Lou had a very, when she was like 15 months, she started nursing again like she was 6 months. It's like the clock reset back. And she was nursing like 3 or 4 times a night again for like a couple of weeks, and it like started over again. So for us, I think we're probably a little bit rare in that way because she nursed pretty consistently until she was about 3 or 4 years old. So for what you're saying, how frequent he's nursing, that sounds normal for that sounds similar to what my process was with Lou. And it was just waiting it out. Now, what helped me was that she started preschool right after she turned 3. So she was able to be apart from me for longer, and she appreciated that she could go longer, and I would reinforce that with her. So then we were able to draw it out longer at home too. And it was recurrent, right? It happened a couple times a week, weeks on end until, of course, the pandemic. So that was really helpful for me. And I hear what you're saying too about that tension of like, you're not going to tell me when I'm done, but also I kind of feel like I want to maybe be done because this body is not mine. And that tension was there every day almost. And it would change from like morning to night. Like I would be so irritated in the middle of the night, nurse, and just like, oh, I can't wait to be done. And then, you know, I don't know, maybe the sun came up and she was just looking so cute. And I was like, oh, this is the sweetest moment of our lives. I want this to happen forever. So I totally hear you on that too. I sympathize with where you're at for sure.
I think something that, I'm sorry. I think something, because JJ was a lot like what you're describing. And I think what I did with him was I created like a word, like a stop word, you know, and I was like right there where I was like, I'm ready to be done, but I'm not ready to be done.
Your safe word was pineapples, was it?
No, I don't remember what it was. And I know at one point we got to like the ABCs where I was like, mommy's going to sing the ABCs and then we need to be done. And I think that kind of helped encourage stop the feeding strikes, because I think maybe he was thinking, well, maybe I can't really rely on all this milk like I think I can. So I'm gonna go over here and eat these chicken nuggets so I don't starve to death. So I think, you know, I know that at one point I did the ABCs, and I know as he got closer to 2, I would just say, you know, JJ, mommy wants to be done now. Would you like a cracker? Would you like a banana? Do you want some strawberries? Because mommy would like to be done with milk now. So maybe that would help, you know, but I definitely get what you're saying, because JJ nursed pretty constantly and was not a food kid at all. He's still not really a food kid.
I agree with Tamika. Eli and I had a full-blown conversation because he was so it was like, on your 5th birthday, we have to stop. Like Vanessa said,
Oh,
even
you have to understand, Shantae.
I know, but I was like, you gotta stop. But like, I knew he was my last one. So every year, so y'all already know, most of y'all know how Shantae is. So like at 2, he was like, y'all still breastfeeding? I was like, yeah. And 3, he was like it's about that time. Shouldn't y'all be breaking up? I said, we gonna break up. We gonna break up. And then it was like, he was 4. He was like, you got 1 more year in you. And that's gonna be about it. He was like, I'm looking at y'all funny. So it was kind of like, okay. And even with preschool, you see how he feel like I be shaming him. I'm like, boy, like really. But even when he went to preschool, my mama said, I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna tell all your little friends that you still, how my mama said, sucking on your mama titties. And he did not care. He was like, tell him. He was like, I don't care. He was like, you would tell him. But he wasn't like, when I started introducing solids, he was still preferring the breast. He was not, Eli did not start sleeping through the night till he was almost 6.
Can I say these the smartest babies? Can I say, because they're so while we're thinking and while we're talking as though it's like of no benefit. Like lactoferrin is highest in breast milk at 13 to 18 months, right? And people might think like, well, why is that important? Well, because it binds, it transports oxygen, and it's also for I can't even speak, but this when I read about this research for your immune system, for the baby's immune system. How about that? So anyways, I think that, you know, when we think about what sometimes physiologically or even sometimes comfort, like some folks are like, well, he would, like Tamika, your baby would come when, the sisters were messing with him, right? And Shatori, your baby is like, well, I ain't eating food. So he got to get some of his stuff from somewhere, right? I mean, I just think that there's a purpose to the extended, whatever extended means. Only in this country are we like, yeah, we're shaming folks for how long, right? They're feeding. And so, yeah, I just think there are benefits to it, not just well, I'm gonna let them come and I don't want to be done. There's still some mutual benefits that happens in the exchange of feeding, because they're still feeding.
You can think about how many years we done reduced like our risk of breast cancer or ovarian cancer, all these 33 months and 60 months we've been out here breastfeeding. So it's true. If we look at it like that, we are here healing ourselves in a sense.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We feeding our future and healing ourselves. Shantae, you did it again, girl. Write it down because I'm not gonna remember.
We'll tell Angel, make it another shirt. Like,
yes, make it another shirt. So, oh, y'all are amazing. First of all, let me just say that just did something for me, and I'm not nowhere near breastfeeding still because my last baby just turned 10. So, yeah, that's a roller coaster of emotions back here. Yeah, y'all got Stephanie though going through all the changes over here.
I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then somebody's like, well, mine didn't. I was like, oh.
when she said, oh, they were still breastfeeding through the night until they was 4, she was like, oh. I'm telling you, I was tempted to unmute just so y'all can hear the distress. She like got all perked up, like, oh yeah, I think that makes sense. Oh no, he's not gonna do that. Oh. So who else hasn't talked about their emotions behind their weaning process? Be it good or bad, it's
I didn't know we were okay. So I'll go. I didn't talk about mine yet. So with JJ, it was kind of bittersweet. He stopped. I was pregnant with Jaden, and he stopped on his own. And I was really glad because I was really sore. But it was also a little bittersweet because he was my first, and we were very close. But I think I had something to kind of look forward to because I was pregnant and I knew I'd be doing it again. Jaden, and he was JJ was an easy breastfeeder. I didn't really have any issues with him. I didn't really have a whole lot of issues with biting. He had to go on formula briefly. Well, I had a stint in the hospital for a couple of days, and so he had to do formula. And that was just because the people that were on the cardio ward, they just didn't have any information on breastfeeding. I could have breastfed him, just no one knew, and I didn't know. I was a new mom. So I had Jaden breastfed like a champ. I had no issues with Jaden. He was exclusively breastfed. And when he weaned, I was really sad when he weaned. He was 2. My mother-in-law took him for a day and he never breastfed again. So it was very, and like he went to her house all the time. Like they would go, he'd come back, he'd nurse, we'd get back into the swing of things. And just that one day, he went to her house, they played in the pool, they had a good time, and he came back and he never nursed again. So it was bittersweet. Part of me was ready to be done. The other part of me, because it was so abrupt, was like, oh, like this is okay. And I thought Jaden was my last baby. Well, COVID happened, it happened, social distancing didn't happen. I got pregnant. So I got
somebody told you that was gonna happen when you talked to them about this. I think somebody warned you.
I know. And my husband was like, dang, how did that happen? I was like, really? Like, we are a lot of children into this, and you just asked me that. Like, so I got pregnant, and I have my little girl, and I'm in a different space with her. She breastfeeds wonderfully. And but she truly is my last. So I know this is over at some point. And with my boys, I was like, at 2 years old, I'm done. I don't care what they want. Like, I'm done. I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. With her, I'm kind of in the space where I'm like, we're just going to go until the wheels fall off, because she's my last. Like, I asked my husband, I was like, can we have another one? Because I don't really know what to do after this. Like, what do we do after this? And he's like, you do whatever you want to do, but you're not getting any more kids out of me. So so that ship sailed. But so I'm in a weird space with her. Like, I know it's over, and even before it's over, I'm really sad about it. Like, I don't ever really want it to be over. Like, that was one thing that I was really shocked to be pregnant with her, but I was so excited to like be able to breastfeed again. So I don't really know, like, I have weird feelings about knowing that there's an end in sight with her. So that's where I am with my breastfeeding journey. Hey, girl.
I want to know what's that giveaway you got over there. I've been trying to look at it.
Free breast pump. And it turns out that because of the time frame, Nanika won that, even though somebody slid through afterwards with a longer breastfeeding experience than her. But I had a whole time frame. We gonna do some more giveaways though. It ain't even, ain't even a thing. Next thing I'm giving away is a gift card, some money on it. So who want to throw out the next question so somebody can win this money or this card? It's not money, but you know what I'm trying to say. Who got another question for our viewers?
Are we asking like trivia questions or like
whatever you want to ask? You can do trivia, but it gotta be fun. If you can't make.
I got one.
Do it.
Throw the first person who can throw out the name of a celebrity who's been in the news about breastfeeding.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say it's a couple of them, but I know it's one who's been in the game as long as me.
I only know.
Okay, Shantae, I don't know that person. I don't know nobody that's been in the game as long as you. So after folks answer, you do have to tell us who you're talking about.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Rikisha, you know?
I think I do.
You need to say the name of the TV show, Shantae.
It's a show?
They did have a show.
They had a reality show?
You did. They did.
Oh, I think
that was a real good hint for the viewers.
Yep, it really was.
I don't know, because all I watch is Dateline.
Look, Nanika said I'm gonna be quiet, so she can't answer because she can't get it because she already won something. Unless she want to trade. If you don't want the pump and you want the money, and I ain't even told you how much money it is, it could be $5. It's not $5 though, y'all. I'm not that cheap. But yes, go ahead and throw it in there if you are paying attention. But we are gonna move on to the next subject because time is winding, sisses. Hit me, somebody. Give me some emotions about Weaning.
You can go ahead.
Sorry. I had like a really bad experience with my first because I had really bad postpartum depression, and she was like just a horrible traumatic birth. So we only lasted 4 months, and it really, like, you know, it is what it is. With my second though, we went for 11 months, and then she cut off for like just like a couple days. And I remember texting Rakisha like almost every day going, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why she's not nursing. And she's like, just give it time, give it time. She's teething. She wants to explore, you know, food and this and that. And then she went right back to nursing up until she was about a year and a half. So 18 months. And she stopped. She stopped completely. Not quite as dramatic as Nyla, but she was just like, I'd rather have it in my bottle, or I'd rather have my cup than you. And it was completely devastating. And I was already going through like a hard time emotionally anyway. So just 1 minute. So that was, I can't even explain the emotions I was feeling. I was so sad and just so depressed. And I didn't even know like what to talk about when it came to it. I almost didn't want to talk about it, but it was all I could think about. So yeah, it's like Rakisha said, it definitely feels like you're being robbed. Like someone just took something away from you that you're never going to get back, unless I had another kid, and I'm not really planning on that. So Rakisha, don't. No, I'm just kidding.
The pandemic is still happening, Desiree.
No, hey, I was good during quarantine.
You're supposed to be social distancing.
I'm mad she knew that I was getting ready to say it, and I was on mute, and you can't see my lips moving. That's how often I tease her about this type of stuff.
Well, okay, but like I also got pregnant both times on birth control, so
yes. This is why that's a whole possibility.
Give us a pandemic though, and we don't. What? Sorry to all your viewers.
Girl, don't be sorry. We need it. We need it.
Her baby got pretty curls. I'm all looking at the baby curls like.
Say hi.
All right, that's the celebrity me and Shantae was talking about, because nobody put anything in the comments, so I feel like we free to.
I have a guess.
I put something in the comments, but I don't know the celebrity because I don't do like reality shows or anything.
Look, I ain't even gonna hold you up.
You know this person. Trust me. You know
the
these
computer
people.
is so far away from me, I can barely see what's in the comments. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all.
Are we allowed to guess like out loud, or do we have to write it down?
Yes.
I don't know if they have a reality show.
So I see
like,
y'all wrote a couple things I want to know. I want to know how long Christine Aguilera breastfed. I want to know Kelly Rowland's story. Ice-T's wife. Why didn't I guess that? I knew that one. Coco. I knew that.
She was about to guess. Look, she was about to guess.
Shantae,
I wasn't thinking any of those people.
Shantae, you put the woman in the Olympics also. Which woman?
So, I don't know if you heard, but like some of them, they were trying to tell them they couldn't bring their kids with them because of COVID, and they were breastfeeding. They were, I think it was track. What was it? One of them a track.
Yep.
Athlete. Yep. And was the other one? What else? Somebody. It was a different athlete too, and they ended up being able to bring the baby so that they could breastfeed.
And the issue was that because they weren't babies, they were older, like they were over
They
one.
were, yeah.
And it was very controversial within Olympics policy because they do allow babies to come, but not older children.
Say
My bad.
what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, y'all, I'm working on that right now because I'm doing my own stuff as far as like being in the virtual space and still breastfeeding Shane. Like I'm working on having us go beyond 12 months because I'm like, y'all not about to sit here and try and fire me because I'm feeding my baby.
Especially when you are the breastfeeding coordinator for the state of Michigan. That's a little foolish. That don't make a whole lot.
Let's do better. Come on now.
You know, we know the guidelines real good, and you trying to promote this around the state, but then you trying to stifle me. I'm gonna need y'all to make it make sense.
Well, let me tell you something. Well, we don't have to start at the hospitals because when I was a labor and delivery nurse, okay, we don't have to let's keep it all the way real. You work in maternal child, and I remember being at work like, I gotta hurry up and pump. I gotta hurry up and pump. Or, you know, folks making little comments like, you gotta go pump again. You know, that sort of stuff. I think that you get the least. Well, I'm going to say all around support is necessary. And you'd be surprised at those who supposed to support it. And they really don't. So I'm just going to stop right there.
But no, it's Coco. It was all over the internet. Still breastfeeding and her baby is 5. And folks was tagging me like, girl, you see this? Like, yeah, and Eli was too. Y'all thought y'all had me. Like, I support it.
When the reaction they thought they was gonna get, that's for sure.
No, Aguilera breastfed till her baby was like 6, almost 7, because she was on The Voice and they were talking about her. It was a couple years back, but she was up there like, nope, I'm still breastfeeding him. And she breastfed him. He was almost 7 when she breastfed.
No, I don't. Well, shout out to Abby Phillips. She posted a picture on her story for Black Breastfeeding Week of her breastfeeding. And she talked about her journey a little. I'm an Abby Phillips fan. So yes, Vanessa, was any of these people the person you was talking about?
Yeah, they're all good, but my husband actually forwarded me the story about Coco T earlier this week, or maybe it was the end of last week, about her talking about she's still nursing 5 years, going strong. I was like, yeah, that's right.
And Ice-T came to her defense on Twitter. He snapped off on folks. So, he got a mouth on him, so he let them know. Like,
you don't play.
I was thinking about oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Chrissy Teigen. Like, that's the only celebrity I see that was always posting about breastfeeding and never shy about it. But I don't know how long she breastfed her first for. So I guess I don't really. I don't think it was as long as 5 years.
Shatoria, surprise! I'm gonna mail you your gift card because so that's the part that I didn't say, that the panelists can actually still win too.
Hey, ladies, I'm gonna have to sign off. My kid just hurt his eye, so it
Oh,
was so good talking to everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Chris.
Okay.
So yeah, we got like after 8 o'clock. I do want to respect the 1 hour mark, but if you want to stay on, we can continue this because it is long. I know we missed a few experiences on the emotional side.
What was that last part?
I said I know we missed a few experiences on how you dealt with the weaning process emotionally. So if you are willing to stay,
I can cap mine up pretty quick. So with my oldest, I didn't really know a whole lot. So we had a few trials in mastitis and a whole bunch of stuff. And I just didn't know really how to resolve it. So we breastfed as long as we could. With my second, though, I had experienced like a lot of emotional turmoil with just being pregnant because I miscarried right before I had him. So, and it was like I got pregnant like right back, and it just, the time frame, like when he was born, I should have had like a 3-month-old. So I was dealing with like a lot of other emotions that I really wasn't prepared for, nor did I have the tools to deal with. And then so when I had him and I eventually went back to work, it was a disaster. Where I was working was in a hospital, and Keisha knows about this, and I think Jennifer might know a little bit about this too. I worked with her, I believe, back in the day. I worked at a hospital, and the hospital that I particularly worked at housed space in another hospital, but they themselves did not have a pumping room. So when I would work nights or work during the day, I would have the charge nurse clock my breaks. Like, it was just, I would have people make remarks saying that it was nasty, saying that because my baby was over 1, and they knew my baby was over 1 because it was a very small staff, they would make remarks like, oh, you're just doing this to keep more breaks, blah, 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 stuff like that. So I dealt with like a lot of that. And so when he came time to wean, I felt like I was like my hand was forced, even though like we successfully like breastfed throughout this like this, you know, monsoon of like issues from like work and postpartum and having a toddler at home and all these things, that when he weaned, I just wasn't ready because I felt like I lost so much time with fighting with my employer so that I could do what I should have been doing respectfully and not in a closet. Or not having to walk, you know, a whole mile during my 15-minute pumping break to pump for 5 minutes and walk back. I just, like, when he was ready to wean, I was distraught. Like, I was a mess. I was a hot mess disaster. And my husband was like, are you okay? Like, do you need me to take him? And I'm like, no, I don't. But I wasn't ready at all. And he ain't want nothing to do with me. He was like eating spaghetti and stuff the next week. Like, he wanted nothing to do with me. But it was just like, I don't know. Like, and then I think I was like 19, but no, I wasn't 19. I was 21 when I had him. So I had 2 kids before I could even legally drink. And it was a feeling of, what in the entire hell is going on? And I have completely lost myself. And then like going through all of that and still being like 21 and not having any resources, it was just a disaster. So when he was ready to wean, I was not, and I cried for a long time. And I tried to like encourage him, and then he just like deboed me one day and like smacked my boo out of his face. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're done. All right. And we just moved on, and I cried for a long time, and my husband was super supportive about it, but he was just like, I don't understand. But that was pretty much it.
I can totally relate on the workplace issue and horrible postpartum with the first baby, like all of that. I went back to work the day she turned 7 weeks. I remember that very clearly. And I felt like I was lucky because I got an extra week because my doctor couldn't fit me in, and my job wouldn't let me come back without the doctor sign off. And so I was finally like kind of getting into the swing of this nursing thing. And then I had to figure out pumping, which, you know, we know how much fun that can be. And my body just would not respond to the pump. And I'm freaking out like my baby's gonna starve to death. Oh my God, she's not gonna have any food. Like, I had been pumping at home, and I had a decent stash, you know, so that she could have it at daycare, because I knew it would probably be hard the first couple of days, but like nothing was happening. Like I'm pumping and nothing is happening. And so I had to learn how to manually express, which was like totally foreign. And people are like, what? So I did that. And I remember like, this was obviously before the Affordable Care Act. My oldest is 19. Like putting the milk in the fridge, and it was like a shared fridge with everybody in the, you know, on the floor. And oh, is that all you're gonna take home for your baby to eat? Is that enough? Yeah, because I need that. I need that right now. Thank you so much. And then there was the added thing of racism. I was the only face of color, period, of any color on the floor. There were 3 different departments. In those 3 different departments, I was not only the only Black woman, I was the only Black person. And so there was that. And then, you know, before I came back to work, and it was like, oh, well, I'm breastfeeding and I plan to continue. You know, I did have the conversation before I came back. And of course, the first thing they came back with was the bathroom. And my response was, when you start eating lunch in the bathroom, I still won't fix my baby's food in the bathroom. So I'm gonna need y'all to find something else. And this was, you know, no law backing me up, nothing. And I needed this job, but I knew I was going to do this. And I'm one of those people, once I decide I'm gonna do something that's pretty, you might as well just go ahead and let me do it, because it's gonna happen. And so they had set aside a space, and we had a break room. And so it had a big window on the door. And I'm like, like my boobs is out when I do this. I'm gonna need some privacy. So they got like some cardboard or something like that you could like take on and put on and take off, like they taped it up or whatever. There was someone in my building who made it his business to snatch that cardboard down every day. And nobody ever saw him do that. But like I would go and do my first pumping session in the morning, and then when I would go back in the afternoon, it would be gone. And so it was like, okay, all right, I'm using my lunch break as it is, and I'm already stressed out, baby daddy tripping. We weren't married at the time. Like all this stuff going on, and then you want to play with me about my baby's food. And so I saw the cardboard in his little, like, I worked in a printing press, in his little dump bin next to his press. And I looked at him and I said, I know it's you. And I said, and you're going to regret messing with me. And I walked away and I typed out a 3-page email to HR because my boss wasn't listening. Oh, he's, oh no, we don't know, And then the response that, oh, he's not racist. He's just an asshole to everybody. Oh, okay. Okay, but guess who he's not gonna be one to no more up in this place. Okay. So yeah, I wrote like this long email to HR. And I made sure I used the words, harassed and because it was, my right to provide this for my baby. And it was, and I felt like, and like all of this stuff. And so there was a long meeting with the HR rep. She came over and there was a long meeting, and I never had any more problems. And they put up a permanent blind on the door after that. I didn't have any more trouble after that. But that was very, very stressful because I'm already felt like I'm barely making enough. And I was going to quit. Like at the 6-month mark, I was like, okay, look, I'm not, it's too stressful. Like I'm losing weight. It's bad. It's just all bad. And I went to drop her off at daycare. And she was the only baby there that day. Like I was always late, always. If you know me, you know don't never show up to nothing on time ever. I was late, and there were no other babies there. And so I'm like, okay, where is everybody? There was like rotavirus had like ripped through daycare. She was the only exclusively breastfed baby, and she was the only one that didn't get sick. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna stick with this. I think we're gonna keep doing this. Okay. And so that was my motivation to keep going. And that was really the push, like, oh, you're not going to keep ripping this board off and messing with my baby's immune system. We're going to fight. So that, and what's because life and the tables be turning. His teenage daughter, she was 17. About a year later, she got pregnant. And I gave him like a whole bunch of baby stuff that I still had left because I knew she needed. And it humbled him, and it felt real, real good. The petty in me was happy, but it also felt good to be able to help somebody else. Yeah, I was just like, how would you feel if somebody did that to your baby girl? And it was just like, oh, now you get it. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Tamika, I always look forward to your clap back, no matter what the scenario is. If don't nobody say nothing, we know you got it. So with it being your own personal experience, if time travel was a thing, I would just go back and do it and just sit on the outside and watch. I wouldn't even need no audio because I could just use my imagination.
Something else that I didn't particularly hear anybody talk about was kickback from the family. That for me was like horrendous. It was awful. It was just like a fight, not with immediate family. So it wasn't like my husband or anything like that. It was more like my mother-in-law would make little snarky comments, and me and her would butt heads from time to time. And one day I kind of had to, and Keisha knows, I don't ever get loud with nobody. And I had to get loud with her. And it was an entire situation. But then,
girl, who you just lied to?
Listen, I'm trying to be nice for the people. Don't do that.
Don't be on here just viewers. This spilled milk, honey. This ain't tea and crumpets.
Listen,
They came across the screen.
and both of y'all gonna look like, no, she
No,
don't. Why?
Look, our camera almost closed this out.
Oh, no, she didn't.
She said, who is she talking to?
And I'm sitting here, I don't know her, and I'm like, poor child, they done pulled her off her square. Listen, you were very convincing. Good job.
Let me see you your Academy Award, honey, because sis. She would like to thank your husband
For everything, all of it.
They got her out of character. I'm over
No,
here
but
like,
like
oh Lord.
seriously though, she did take me out of character because I'm really not one to really do stuff like that to my elders, but I felt like the old lady was picking at this point of the day. And my son is a big boy. And he would like abruptly just like go up my shirt. Like just like didn't care who was watching, what we was doing, nothing. He was just like swoop, grab the whole boob, pull it out, and just like latch right on. And she made a remark like, oh, he gonna be some weirdo because he's 3, or he was 2 at the time. He looked probably about 4, and he was still nursing. And I was like, oh God, like, am I turning my kid into like some freak? Like that was my, like, cause I didn't know any better. And then like, on the other hand, Keisha, you know, my great grandmother, she's almost 90 and she's very opinionated, very sweet, but very opinionated. And she would make remarks when I would be like pumping at her house, like, oh, you sound like a cow. You know, you over there milking them titties.
Like, were you like doing this? Ooh.
I did. I turned around and looked at her. I said, moo, and just looked at her. And she just looked at me and laughed. And she was like, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. You don't have no sense. I said, you shouldn't have. And there was another time she was like, oh, you over there milking them titties. And I was like, do you want some? Why you keep asking me? I was like, I'm trying to feed this boy. Leave me alone. And it was just like, for me, at the end of a day, it was just like a constant fight. Whether I'm like fighting at work, you know, to be able to feed my baby. And then I'm dealing with like, whether they're harmless or not, you know, these semantics and this like, oh, you should have stopped feeding him long ago. He was already eating. And I wasn't ready, but like subconsciously, it's like I felt like people had already made that decision for me long before I was even able to process the want for my baby to be done. And for some reason, that subconsciously had my body thinking long before we were actually ready that we were done.
You know, for my family, it was such a traumatic experience with the twins and then trying to feed in the NICU and nobody wanted to help you feed in the NICU. I like made it a determination, like, we gonna figure this out so that way nobody else come down this road don't know don't know how to do this. Because I mean, I was separated from baby. I didn't get put on a pump until 36 hours later. I didn't get the pump till 36 hours later. And then nobody's telling me about hands-on pumping. The first thing they want to do is give me a prescription, tell me take this fenugreek and go on about my way. It was a lot. And I worked in a pediatrician's office. So then it's like, you know, my kid has neck and I need to get this breast milk. And it's like, well, you need to clock out for 30 minutes to do this. And that's how it's got to get done. And it got to a point where it's like, I'm too stressed out that I can't do it anymore. I was like, I got enough stash in the freezer. I'm going to just stop. And I felt horrible because my baby had neck. And like neck was like, he was touch and go for a minute. And it was just like, the only thing that I know that is saving him is the breast milk. So all that is another thing. And so when it came to Shane, I was like, y'all not gonna tell me and sit with all these slip slide remarks. I mean, I got an attitude and a mouth on me. I do, and I can admit that. But it wasn't gonna be that again. It was like, okay, I'm fighting with you to do what's right. It's either you're gonna get on board or you leave. You can say whatever you want to or leave. You don't gotta sit here and do it. It's not like, it was always like, well, why are you still doing that? I gave such and such formula. They just fine. This, that, and the other. La, la, la. And my response was like, did you have that? Oh, no, you didn't have that. Oh, did you have Nikki? Oh, no, you didn't have that. How about you hush up and back up? Because once you had that, you wouldn't say these things that you are saying about breast milk. And I know too, it's like a lot of people don't have that attitude to sit there and combat that, but it's like, if you have not experienced or walked in my shoes with this breastfeeding experience, I'm gonna need you to have several seats. But you did
right up out of you.
In the back, the last row.
Very back. You know what? You're gonna be put in the quiet room in the corner and look.
Right, I was about to say, you can step outside and have a seat like you got kicked out of class or something. I don't know what to tell you.
On the curb.
You don't even deserve to have a seat to watch this, honey. You better go on somewhere. Goodbye. Handle your business. Go to the next one that you can harass about their breast milk, they're pumping, they're feeding, whatever. Like, you gone somewhere. Because I was quick to throw a receiving blanket over somebody's head. Like, you don't want to look at
I was waiting on you to tell us that. I was waiting on you to say, and when I threw the receiving blanket over their head, they wanted me to cover up.
At least you did that. I flashed this lady at the zoo.
Blue. There you go. You talking about me being a cow. I don't want to hear you smacking on your burger like a cow. Goodbye.
Right, chewing with your mouth all open.
Handle your own, because I don't have no time for it. I'm not about to keep doing this again. And if I have another one, if you fixing your mouth to say something, I'm gonna need you to write it in your journal or go to your therapist, because you're not about to say it to me, and you're not about to come through my door with that energy. You can check it at the door. I'm gonna need y'all to go back to y'all teachings of, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say
nothing at all.
Well, y'all know that don't apply to the elders. Come on now.
It really don't, because
it ain't never applied to the elders. I mean, let's just keep it all the way real, but let's really think about and unpack that though. And I think, when we think about like mommy shaming and mommy guilt, I think that sometimes, and I'm not saying this for all elders, but I think that there's sometimes that elders, they were told that formula was good and it was safe and it was better. And, they were fed the okie doke. And I think in some ways, and then there's other theories about liberating our bodies and saying, no, I don't want my body to be used in that way, right? Having personal agency. And so there's a lot of things I think about, but when I think about the majority of the elders being told, that formula was safe and it was good and all of this stuff, right? No one wants to think that they did something wrong. They did wrong. So I sometimes think it's a protection of, and a guilt and a whole bunch of other things mixed in between, maybe of even feeling robbed of that experience sometimes when they see you bonding that way, you nourishing your baby is growing from your milk, right? I think that there's so much to consider and unpack with our elders, despite the fact that they're going to say what they want to say. But outside of that, that gives some validity to their feelings, because I think it's like we feel shamed when they say that type of stuff to us, right? But I think that they, in some ways, some of them are shamed because they weren't able to do, or may not even have the liberty to do as you're doing. Many of our elders, and when I think about folks that like my grandmother, they were caretakers of other folks' kids, like in domesticated fashions, right? So not being able to stay home and nurture their young, but having to pour into and nurture other folks and care for other folks' homes and kids and yada, yada, yada. And so I think it's a lot to unpack when we talk about our elders in ways of, yes, it is harmful. It can be traumatic to our experiences, and validating all of that. But I think just reaffirming one another and thinking about it from a grace standpoint of these are times to really continue to educate our elders and to even hold them up and say, you may not have done it and that's okay, but you didn't know what you didn't know, right? You still don't know, but that's okay too. I'm going to grant you grace, but this is my experience, right? And so I think there's an opportunity for like honoring or seeing the perspective of the whole, what it means to feel the narrative of what it means to be a mother. And we see this now, we see this on these mommy wars on that's why I don't sometimes in social media groups, in these mommy groups, I just be like, oh, y'all be shaming one another. Like, who got time for that, right? It's all built on, well, I exclusively breastfed, or breastfed shouldn't be pumping, and all of this other stuff. And it's like, who are you to invalidate, right? But really then looking at unpacking ways in which we harm one another and we keep perpetuating harm, and especially related to how we feed our babies.
I'm glad you put it that way, because I came from a breastfeeding family. So like grandma, great-grandma, great-great-grandma, we all breastfed. So when somebody's coming to us and telling us X, Y, and Z, all of us is like, hold up, pause, because grandma and grandma and grandma and grandma all breastfed. So you gonna tell me that we not gonna breastfeed? You gonna tell me the formula thing? I mean, if y'all met my grandma, y'all think I'm a spitfire. Lord have mercy. That woman, she's the one that helped me get breastfeeding in the hospital in the first place. She is 5 feet even, stomping through those hallways. Like, we need a breast pump. I don't care what you said. I don't care what you do. She needs a breast pump. She's having twins. She needs a breast pump. She needs to do this. So to see that and be raised in that type of household, to see that, and then seeing the other side of my family, I kind of just like quick to shame and quick to fight, and I mean, absentee and all that, like you not present, but you got a lot to say about what I'm doing and how I'm doing. So I think my perspective is very different. So I appreciate the change of perspective of that, because I come from a breastfeeding family where I know that's not the norm for many.
Got a couple people signing off. I wanted to say bye. Everybody can look for a little something in the mail. I ain't gonna look. Yeah, y'all can look for a little something. I'm gonna just stop right there.
I just love, I got to sign off too, but I just want to verbally say that this conversation took a life of its own. It was organic, and these are the best conversations to have, because we could be, those of us that's passionate about this, we could just keep talking all night. Nobody want to really see us talk all night like that. But I just appreciate the different sharing of experiences, because hopefully folks will know that whatever their emotionality is regarding their weaning process, that we'll normalize that. And also partners need to see, husbands, partners, wives need to see that sometimes weaning is just not as clear cut. Sometimes what you as a partner might be thinking and got nothing to do with what I'm thinking that I'm going to do with my body, and so I just think that more conversation. So I want to thank Rakisha and Stephanie for really bringing this spilled milk, because it's got my mind thinking about a lot of things as it relates to just educating how much we are just got so much more more stuff to do. It's so much work to do, so much trauma to unpack and all of that. But I just want to say I appreciate everybody, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Hey, I can't put it no better than Sakita just did. I told Stephanie, I said, she finna wrap us up, honey, because Sakita, I told you be all in my head.
Good night. I love y'all. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.
So, ladies, I appreciate your time. We did go over by a whole 32 minutes, but that's actually good for us, though. If you know how our meetings normally go, like we be here. But this was everything, and I hope that those that tuned in to watch, this is going to be available on Milk Like Mine indefinitely. So at any point in time that you feel like somebody could even benefit from that if they going through it, hey Messiah, hey boss baby, then please, absolutely have them watch, because it's unknown until you have it done. And then if you have another one, it's completely different. Exactly. Just like pregnancy. So we enjoyed this so much. If anybody has anything that they want to say before they zoom out, speak now.
Next topic.
Yeah, what y'all want to hear next?
Send it to us so we can prepare for the next one.
I have a question. So I just had to pop back on because I had to put everybody to bed. But what is that? Maybe we can talk offline about the whole fish that you have. And then I don't know if this was already covered or not, but breast pumps, is that something that we could talk about next time?
Absolutely.
The different types, because I'm interested in or learning about the hands-free. I was really wanting to try that with my last baby, and I'm interested in learning about that. So I've used Medela, I've used Spectra, and I think that they, those are probably some of the more common ones. But I'm really interested in the hands-free one, so that I need to be educated on that.
All right, yes, we most definitely can. I'm gonna have to have my niece join us for that one, because I got her hands-free one and it was from China. Tell me why nothing was in English. I mean, nothing. I have never been so appalled in my life. So then I asked the sellers, hey, can you send us, some English instructions, or, is there a button that I switch to, why he send me the description of the pump again? I had to restrain myself.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's so many out there that
I had the Willow and it was amazing.
Yeah, that's when I've really been
It's
It is, but if you have like the HSA, the companies are more,
right,
that will cover it.
Yeah.
We got it. We'll see
And
y'all.
just real quick,
What you say?
if you have, I think if you have like over size 24 nipple, they don't make them for us.
Right.
So yeah, if you fit in that count, yeah.
The middle thing is quite big though, because like even the smaller size phalange that goes in there,
yeah,
a little too big for me. So like I had to pump on the lowest setting, because if I pumped too high, it felt like it was gonna take my breast through the dang machine. Like so yeah, it does, the flange size does run big.
That's good to know. And I think all flange sizes are different, right? For different pumps.
Yep. Yep, that's right. All right, y'all. Well, we bid y'all all adieu, and thank you all for joining us and hanging out with us a little bit later. See y'all next episode.